Hello, everyone. This is Peter Richardson. I'm your host for the Counterpoint podcast. And today we're talking to my colleague, Minsu Kang. Hello, Minsu. How are you doing today?
Hello, Peter. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. So, we're going to be talking about an interesting development in the Korean market, which is a rise in the popularity of the affordable premium smartphones. Now, Minsu, I've been to Korea a few times, and I know the market a little bit. When I talk to my friends about, that I'm going to South Korea, they don't know much about it, but they always seem to know that it has really good internet connectivity. I don't know where that's come from, but a lot of people seem to know that. Um, but thinking about the smartphone market specifically, what can you talk us a little bit through the development? I mean, has it been obviously Samsung and LG are the big Korean players, but is it a market that's characterized by a lot of smartphone sort of flagship smartphone sales, or how has it been?
Yeah, generally speaking, Korean is really flagship market, and the ASP is really high. It's more than 600 sometimes, and there are only three company is a major player. So top three company capture more than 90% of the market. So there is a very little competition. So that's why they are only selling a flagship a smartphone in the market.
Right. And I guess Apple is the third player. So I mentioned Samsung and LG, but Apple's done pretty well for a non-Korean player to be as strong as it has. So what is the breakout in terms of market share for the overall market right now?
Yeah. The Samsung gets almost over 60% of the market, and Apple and LG is a very similar, like around 20 something, less than 20.
Okay. But something that we're sort of seeing is this the rise of the affordable premium uh, smartphone. So can you explain what the affordable premium is, and why are we seeing this segment of the market really beginning to pick up now?
Yes. Affordable premium is not exactly the ultra premium price point, but has very similar, very competitive spec compared to premium product. So it's like a good enough product for at a reasonable price. And the reason why this is very becoming popular in Korea is like I think it's a smartphone company, especially Samsung, is finally answering to the change in consumer needs. As smartphone industry matures, differentiation between device decreases, and more consumers want to buy product at a reasonable price. And I think Samsung is taking preemptive action on this desire.
Yeah, and I think I mean it's a trend that we're seeing not just in South Korea, but around the world. Um, you know, uh, we're seeing I mean, not so much the affordable premium, but certainly in markets even like India, which is one of the strongest growing smartphone markets, or has been up until the COVID-19 lockdown. But there's a trend towards sort of moving up the price curve, but there is this sort of convergence on this sweet spot, which combines some of the high end features that we're seeing that are kind of drifting down from the flagship products into this space, and we're certainly seeing it in Europe as well with some of the Chinese players. I mean, Huawei had actually kind of gone through the affordable premium way up into the premium segment, but what we're now seeing is companies like Xiaomi and Realme coming into the European market with this affordable premium type product. Um, yeah, one of the other factors, obviously, that's of note in South Korea is 5G. It was one of the first markets to really get going with 5G. So is that a factor in differentiating between flagship models and these affordable premium type products?
Yeah, it could be, but yeah, because of 5G is very early, people not really hurried to buy a 5G product. Yeah, that could be the one of the reason. But in first quarter of 2020, the best-selling Samsung model is A90 5G. So this is a affordable premium segment, but it also provided a 5G connection. So that's the Samsung strategy to cover this segment by providing affordable premium product to provide the 5G connection. Yeah.
Okay, so which is the best-selling product overall in the Korean market right now?
Yes, overall, iPhone 11 is the number one seller, but among Samsung model, as I mentioned earlier, A90 5G is ranked first. And also, there are four more affordable premium models in the top 10 list. This is very unusual in Korean market. This could be seen as a result of Samsung's rapid response to the change in consumer demand.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think the Galaxy S20 series was launched earlier this year, which is March this year, and that I mean that had sort of unfortunate timing because at least in North America and Europe, it kind of coincided with the COVID-19 lockdown. But even it's difficult to kind of separate that out. But even that, I think there was, although it's a great product, there was a, maybe some consumer reluctance. But products in Europe that are doing well, like Samsung A50 and A70, which are being strongly promoted, they're doing pretty well, and they would sort of fit into this affordable premium area. Yeah, interesting. So, how the Samsung flagships, how are they performing in South Korea? So the S series and Note series, are they suffering a little bit as people are shifting more towards this affordable premium segment?
Yeah, they're suffering a lot. We can look at just the first quarter data to eliminate the seasonality. Samsung's flagship phone, like S and Note series, have accounted for more than half of the sales since 2016. The only exception is 2017 when the Note 7 incident occurred. But this ratio fell to 41% in the first quarter of 2020. So this is a very symbolic event that shows flagship market in Korea is decreasing.
Right. Yeah. I remember that Note 7 battery exploding issue. That was a big shock at the time, but yeah, didn't really actually at the time. There was a lot of concern that the Note series would never recover from that incident, and it did. But now it seems to be suffering from the impact of a shift in the sort of consumer demand. And thinking about, I mean, obviously the COVID-19 pandemic has hit the market, all of the markets around the world to a greater or lesser extent. Um, South Korea has, been perhaps the country that's dealt with it the best in terms of, getting on top of the outbreak early and really doing a good job of tracking and tracing and, keeping the rate of infection well contained. But do you think that's had an impact on the way that consumers are buying right now, or at least in the first quarter?
Oh yes, it might have had some impact. When Samsung launched S20, there was a rapid growth of a confirmed case of COVID-19 in Korea. But, however, this might just have accelerated the trend that was already taking place. A direct cause is the changes in consumer demand. So this trend will continue after COVID-19.
Yeah. So, kind of looking forward, I guess we have, um, an expectation that there will be a new Note series product launching, I guess, in September timeframe. Um, hopefully the COVID situation is kind of eased back by then. But um, I mean, if we look at the first quarter, so what was the average selling price for smartphones in South Korea in the first quarter?
ASP had been on steady rise since 2016, but has fallen 16% year-on-year to 464 in first quarter of 2020.
So I guess we also have we've talked a bit about 5G devices, but one of the most interesting product launches around the world, and especially given um, the whole kind of COVID situation, has been the iPhone SE, which was launched right in the middle of the pandemic, but is doing extremely well in sales terms. So, how is that? How is that shaping up in Korea? We've got also the LG Velvet. So how are those two products looking within the overall competitive landscape?
Yeah, the time was good. Apple and LG also launched the new product for this category, and I think it will bring more competition to the segment. But s- as I mentioned earlier, Samsung is very dominant player in Korean market with over 60% of share. So changing market share will be very limited. Yeah.
you know, you know where I am. So, we kind of touched on this idea of the kind of affordable premium products, spreading around the world. Well, actually, I think it's probably the other way around. I mean, it's been a driver of the market in outside of South Korea, but now it seems to be coming back into uh, Korea as well. So, is this a trend that you expect to see growing in South Korea as well as globally?
Yes, sure. I think so. Korea is a very non-competitive market, as I mentioned earlier. Top three company taking more than 90% of market. And seeing this company chose this type of strategy in a less competitive market, I think this can happen in other more competitive markets soon. Some of signs of this happening in other markets could be a OnePlus in India capturing major share in this segment. Yeah, that could happen in any other country.
Yeah, indeed. OnePlus kind of launched with the strapline, the flagship killer.
Yeah,
And actually, I mean, what it's done over the recent years is actually kind of moving up almost into the flagship
yeah,
territory. So it's becoming almost like a flagship model itself. But as I mentioned earlier, you see Xiaomi, Realme brands are kind of taking a strong position in Southeast Asia and now coming into uh, Europe, as well as in China. Obviously, there's we haven't really kind of talked on the Chinese market, but um, but that's also a factor here. So, yeah, this is a really interesting development. So, Minsu, thanks for your time today. Really appreciate talking through this interesting development, and I expect we'll see more of it in future. So, anyway, thanks everyone for joining us for this quick tour through the South Korean market. And please check in on our blogs and future podcasts to get the latest in the tech developments from Counterpoint. So thanks everyone. Thanks Minsu. Have a great day.
thank you.